Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Let me introduce myself and my partner. My name is Irfan Maulana and my partner are Bagas Nur Muhammad and Zulfi Haidal Anam. We will present the research of our discussion about analysis of drama Romeo and Juliet. William Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet, often shortened to Romeo and Juliet, is a 1996 American romantic tragedy film directed, produced, and written by Baz Luhrmann, produced by Claudia Martinelli, and written by Craig Pearce. It is an adaptation and modernization of William Shakespeare's tragedy Romeo and Juliet. The film stars Leonardo DiCaprio and Claire Denis in the title roles of two teenagers who fall in love. Despite their being members of few families, Brian Dennehy, John Leguizamo, Horror Brand Pete Specialist White Paul Sorvino, and Fenora also star in supporting roles. Directed by Baz Luhrmann, produced by Baz Luhrmann, Gabriele Martinelli, screenplay by Craig Pearce, Baz Luhrmann, based on Romeo and Juliet by William Shakespeare, starring Leonardo DiCaprio, Claire Denis, Brian Dennehy, John Leguizamo, Pete Specialist White, Paul Sorvino, Dan Fenora, music by Nels Hopper, Maris DeFries, Craig Armstrong, cinematography Donald's MC Alpine, edited by Jill Wilcox, production company Buzzmarks Production, release dates October 27, 1996, Main Chinese Theater, November 1, 1996, United States, running time 120 minutes, country United States, language English, budget 14 million, box office 151 X million. Okay, and then exposition empire, the anime city of the older generation, Hurricane Show and Gloria Caplet and Ted and Caroline's Montague is felt by their younger relatives. A gunfight between Montague led by Benvolio Romeo's cousin and Caplet led by Tybalt Juliet's cousin crashed cars in the city. The chief on police, Captain Prince, reprimands the families, warning them that if such an event occurred again, their life saw a danger forfeit of the peace. Benvolio and Romeo land a capulet party that evening which they decide to get cross. Romeo agrees on hearing that Rosalind, with whom he is loved, is attending. They meet their friend Mercutio, who has ticket to the party, and Romeo takes ecstasy and the drug and the party are offer him. Romeo, who goes to the restroom. There he sees Juliet, and the two instantly fall in love, but unaware of who the other is. Tybalt spots Romeo and feels to kill him for inviting his family home. Complication. After Romeo leaves the party, he and Juliet is warned that they belong to failed families, but Romeo returns to see her. Juliet tells him that if he sends word by the following day, they will be betrothed. The next day, Romeo asks Father Lawrence to marry them, and he agrees. Romeo passes the words until Juliet knows, and they soon get married. Tybalt encounter Mercutio and Romeo at the beach. Romeo attempts to make peace, but Tybalt shouts him. Mercutio interferes and battles Tybalt and is about to kill him. When Romeo stops him, Tybalt takes the opportunity to fatally wound Mercutio, who curses bird houses before dying, and and wretched Romeo chases after they feeling tired and shoots him. Climax. Captain Prince banishes Romeo from the city and he casts into hiding with Father Lawrence. The nurse arrives and tells him that Juliet is waiting for him. Romeo climbs Juliet's balcony and they cause, consummates their marriage, which Romeo is departing soon after. Meanwhile, Fulgencio decides Juliet will marry Dave Paris, the governor soon. The next morning, Gloria informs Juliet that she is to marry Paris, and when Juliet refuses, Fulgencio threatens to disown her. Julia runs away and seeks out Father Lawrence, imploring him to help her, while threatening to commit suicide. Father Lawrence gave her a potion that will let her fake her own death, after which she will be placed within the couplet vault. 24 hours later, Father Lawrence fails to inform Romeo of the plot via letter, where upon the letter will sneak into the vault and once Romeo reunites with Juliet, the two will escape to Mantua. Romeo does not see the delivered letter, however, and believing Juliet to be dead by a poison from an apothecary. Fighting action. The end of Acts 5 scenes 3 when the prince and the parent discover the bodies of Romeo and Juliet and agree to put aside their feud in the interest of peace resolution. Romeo enters the grass where Juliet lies and consumes the poison just as Juliet wakes up. Distraught over Romeo's death, Juliet picks up his gun and shoots herself in the head, falling down beside his lifeless body. In the final part of the film, Romeo's body is seen to be taken inside an ambulance with a crowd of spectators and reporters observing the incident from behind the police line. When the parents of both Romeo and Juliet arrive in the scene, Captain Prince approaches their father, asking them to see to scores that result from the fields, including him losing his kinsman, and thus even desperate means to kill their choice with love. The captain then shows of them strength or are punished.
Character and characterization. Romeo Montague is one of the main characters in the tragedy of William Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet. He acts as the male protagonist in the stage play. Romeo, son of Montague, and his wife secretly loves and marries Juliet, a member of the rival house of Capulet. Juliet Capulet is the female protagonist in the romance tragedy of William Shakespeare, Romeo and Juliet. Juliet is the only daughter of the patriarch of the Capulet house and falls in love with Romeo, a member of the house of Montague. The story has a long history that predates Shakespeare himself. Friar Lawrence, a Franciscan friar, friend to both Romeo and Juliet, kind, civic-minded, a proponent of moderation, and always ready with a plan. Mercutio, a kinsman to the prince and Romeo's close friend. One of the most extraordinary characters in all of Shakespeare's plays. Mercutio overflows with imagination, wit, and at times a strength-beating satire and brooding fervor. Mercutio loves wordplay, especially sexual double entendres. He can be quite hot-headed and hates people who are affected, pretentious, or obsessed with the latest fashions. The nurse, Juliet's nurse. The woman who breastfed Juliet when she was a baby and has cared for Juliet her entire life. A vulgar, long-winded, and sentimental character, the nurse provides comic relief with her frequently inappropriate remarks and speeches. But until a disagreement near the place and the nurse is Juliet's faithful, confidant, and loyal intermediary and Juliet's affair with Romeo. A Capulet, Juliet's cousin on her mother's side, fine, fashionable, supremely aware of courtesy and lack of it, he becomes aggressive, violent, and quick to draw his sword when he feels his pride has been injured. Lady Capulet, Juliet's mother, Capulet's wife, a woman who herself married young by her own estimation, she gave birth to Juliet at close to the age of 14. She is eager to see her daughter marry Paris. She is an ineffectual mother, relying on the nurse for moral and pragmatic support. Montague, Romeo's father. The patriarch of Montague, clean and bitter enemy of Capulet. At the beginning of the play, he is chiefly concerned about Romeo's melancholy. Lady Montague, Romeo's mother. Montague's wife, she dies of grief after Romeo is exiled from Verona. Paris, a kinsman of the prince and the suitor of Juliet most preferred by Capulet. Benvolio, Montague's nephew. Romeo's cousin and thoughtful friend, Prince Escalus, the Prince of Verona, a kinsman of Mercutio and Paris as the seat of political power in Verona. He is concerned about maintaining the public peace at all costs. Friar John, a Franciscan friar charged by Friar Lawrence with taking the news of Juliet's false death to Romeo in Mantua. Balthasar, Romeo's dedicated servant who brings Romeo the news of Juliet's death unaware that her death is a ruse. Samson and Gregory, two servants of the house of Capulet, who like their master had the Montagues at the outset of the play. They successfully provoked some Montague men into a fight. Abram, Montague's servant, who fight with Samson and Gregory in the first scene of the play. The apothecary in Mantua. Had he been wealthier, he might have been able to afford to value his morals more than money, and refused to sell poison to Romeo. Peter, a Capulet servant who inflicts gas to Capulet's face and escort the nurse to meet with Romeo. He is illiterate and a bad singer. Rosalind, the woman with whom Romeo is infatuated at the beginning of the play. Rosalind never appears on stage, but is said by other characters that she is very beautiful and is sworn to live a life of chastity. The Chorus is a single character who, as developed in Greek drama, functions as a narrator offering commentary on the play's plot and themes. And next, any setting time, Renaissance, 14th or 15th century. Setting of plays, Verona and Mantua, cities in northern Italy. Setting atmosphere. The atmosphere is a tragic miserable because at the end of the story, in an attempt to escape from forced marriage, Juliet drinks some kind of concoction for suspended animation and her family will think she is dead. The news of this fact that didn't get to Romeo perfectly. Romeo then goes to Juliet's perfect grave. Because of his grief, Romeo drank poison, committed suicide, died. Juliet, because of incomparable adversity at the end of her life, committed suicide by drinking poison. This time it's real poison. Juliet died.
Kind of play. Romance tragedy because this drama tells a story that is related in love. In tragedy, characters usually have good qualities but suffer bad luck and cause themselves or their relatives and friends to experience problems. This drama tells the story of Romeo meeting Juliet, the son of Lord and Lady Capulet. Immediately, they are attracted to each other and fall in love. But Romeo's prison is discovered by Juliet's cousin, Tybalt, who is full of hatred. Romeo and Juliet's meeting eventually leads them to a secret marriage. Because their families are hostile for a short time, an incident kills Tybalt, who challenges the Montag group, having previously been rejected by Romeo, who chooses but causes Mercutio to die and kill. The mood and tone. Mood. There is a contrast of mood throughout the play. The mood created by the love between Romeo and Juliet is bright, happy, and romantic. The prevailing mood of Verona are ugly, harsh, and cruel, as evidenced in the needless conflict between the Capulet and Montages and the action of those touched by the conflict. And then the tone. The tone of Romeo and Juliet is sympathetic to the plight of the young lovers. The equal weight the play gives to sexual desire and everlasting love suggests a realistic benevolent attitude toward their story. Okay, next. Dialogue evaluation. Juliet, shall I speak ill of him that is my husband? Of poor my lord? What tongue shall smooth thy name? When I tie 3 our wife, have mangled it, but wherefore, villain, didst thou kill my cousin? The type of conversation of Romeo and Juliet film is monologue, which is a long conversation between one or more other character. Evaluating one of the character conversation above the conversation is a monologue because content conversation or narrative conveyed by one character without replies from other character. Okay, next. Moral value. The moral behind the story in Romeo and Juliet is to let all prejudice go and to not let emotion control one's life. If the Capulet and Montage had let their family rivalry stay in the past and had not let their emotion dictate their action, it is likely that Romeo and Juliet would not have that as they did. Okay, next. As you can see, this is costume and the property. Okay, next. Stage direction. The stage direction is modern version of Romeo and Juliet are written by editors, not by Shakespeare. For example, modern edition of Romeo and Juliet begin Act 1, Scene 1, with Verona, a public place. Enter Samson and Gregory with swords and bucklers of the house of Capulet. One interesting stage direction that contributes to conflict and them can be found in the opening scene. Capulet's servants Samson and Gregory are described as entering the stage, armed with sword and bucklers, meaning sword and shield. Another interesting stage direction can be found in Act 3, Scene 1, after Tybalt stabs Mercutio, while being held back under Romeo's arm. Tybalt then flies with his followers. It does not quite seem characteristic of Tybalt to run away from a fight, especially after just having caused damage. It seems unlikely that Tybalt ran from fear of the prince's consequences. considering that Tybalt was the one who challenged both Romeo and Mercutio to a duel in the first place. Okay, next. Style. In Romeo and Juliet, the characters strive to express the purity of their love, but the play constantly links up both terms to show that even the most powerful experience is shadowed by its own opposite. When Romeo tries to describe the brightness of Juliet's beauty, he instead describes the darkness which makes her stand out. She hangs upon the cheek of night, or as a rich jewel in an edge of ear. Juliet returns the compliment by making a similar contrast to will lie upon the wings of night, or rather than new snow upon a raven's back. Okay, next. Symbol and POV, or point of view. The symbol are poison, thumb, beating, and queen map. And point of view, Romeo and Juliet is written from the third person, omniscient point of view. The play focus move between various characters showing there. Okay, thank you for watching and enjoying my group presentation. If my group have any mistake, I apologize. Thank you and see you.